good to have you here. This is Omni View, episode 43, Balanced News Perspectives. Today is May 6, 2026. Today's stories, multiple viewpoints, your call. Novo Nordisk raised its 2026 outlook after strong sales of its new Wegovy pill sent shares up 6%. The National Health Service in England received more than 134,000 written complaints about general practitioner surgeries last year. Poor communication, staff behavior, and treatment errors ranked among the most common issues raised by patients. Patient groups point to repeated difficulties in securing timely appointments and receiving clear explanations from staff. NHS managers note that the complaints process itself reveals gaps in how surgeries handle everyday interactions with the public. The figures also highlight long-standing pressures on primary care, where demand continues to outpace capacity. How do rising complaint volumes affect trust between patients and their local surgeries? Shifting now to an international health matter at sea. Spain's health ministry confirmed that the cruise ship MV Hondias will arrive in the Canary Islands within 3 to 4 days after an outbreak on board. The vessel has remained at sea while authorities monitor the situation. Health officials are focusing on containment measures once the ship docks. Passengers and crew face uncertainty about testing and quarantine requirements. European health networks are watching the case for any wider implications for cruise travel safety. What protocols are in place for infectious disease outbreaks on international cruise ships? Turning to education policy in Australia. Western Australia's education minister confirmed that books by an author who pleaded guilty to child exploitation offenses will stay off the public school curriculum. The temporary ban has now been made permanent. Education authorities emphasize child safety when selecting classroom materials. Some parents and community members welcome the decisive action. Others question how such titles were approved in the first place and whether review processes need strengthening. How are school reading lists currently vetted for appropriateness? Next, a citizen initiative in Germany. A citizen-led campaign in Berlin is gathering signatures to create a car-free zone in the German capital. Other European cities have already introduced similar restrictions. Campaigners argue that reducing vehicle traffic improves air quality and public space. City planners are examining practical impacts on deliveries and emergency access. Residents who rely on cars for work express concern about reduced mobility. What results have other European cities seen after introducing car-free zones? Moving to developments in technology and corporate governance. Greg Brockman told the court during the second week of the Musk versus OpenAI trial that he once thought Musk was going to hit him. The testimony came during ongoing legal proceedings between the two sides. Both parties are presenting sharply different accounts of events leading to the current dispute. Witnesses are being asked to recall specific conversations from several years ago. Observers are watching how personal recollections influence the wider debate over OpenAI's original mission and structure. What standards of evidence are applied in disputes over company founding agreements? Now we turn to a business sector drawing regulatory attention. The Financial Stability Board called for tighter regulatory oversight of the private credit sector amid concerns about growing stress in the market. The sector has expanded rapidly in recent years to a scale of $2 trillion. Regulators are concerned that limited transparency could hide vulnerabilities during economic downturns. Industry participants argue that private credit fills an important gap left by traditional banks. Some investors view the higher yields as appropriate compensation for the additional risk. To really understand this story, there is something most coverage leaves out. Private credit funds raise money from institutional investors such as pension funds and insurers, then lend directly to companies, often with fewer disclosure requirements than public bond markets or traditional banks. Because these loans sit outside regulated banking systems, supervisors receive less frequent data on borrower health or fund leverage. When economic conditions tighten, the lack of transparent pricing and secondary markets can make it difficult to assess how much stress is building inside portfolios. Next time you hear claims that private credit is just filling a gap left by banks, ask yourself whether the gap comes with reduced oversight that could amplify problems during a downturn. Before we go, tomorrow, watch for updates on how Spanish authorities handle the cruise ship arrival and any quarantine decisions. That wraps up today's Omni View. Remember, the best informed people read more than one perspective. If this show helps you do that, share it with someone who values fair coverage. See you tomorrow. This podcast is curated by Patrick, but generated using AI voice synthesis of my voice. The primary reason to do this is I unfortunately don't have the time to be consistent with generating all the content and wanted to focus on creating consistent and regular episodes for all the themes that I enjoy, and I hope others do as well.